Hey everybody, guten Abend, good evening. So, just thought I'd run a little video on a few things I'm doing. I'm in the process of making more of the FLATLINER SHINER Topwater, the subsurface bait that I showed you on a few previous videos. I went today and I made a whole bunch of blanks, so I'm just going to zip it around here and show you what it looks like. Alright, so I got a bag of them here. I made a whole bunch out of cedar. And I did it because I said in the last video I wanted to make a bunch of color options. So I'm going to go through the list of color options that I have. The one with the little green tail, that's for a cousin of mine. I told him that whatever color that I come out with that you like, I will do a copy of one for you, for him to keep and try out. I've got the lips here. These are the diving bills for the for each individual lure. And what I want to make, oh, I don't have it here. So anyways, I'll just go through it. I'm going to do one that's redhead, which is much like this here. Another one will be a golden perch. I don't know if I have a golden perch lure or not. One that's going to be black, or like a dark purplish blue with a black back. It'll have some candy in it and some golden perch stripes. I'm going to do one in a sort of a silverish minnow. Kind of hard to explain. One that's kind of like a pearl. Will have a little bit of flash inside of it. I want to do another one up in a fire tiger, and another one here in just sort of a shiner with a black back with a candy purple on top of the glitter. And it just ended up being just sort of like a, I don't know, it's not like a lake shiner or something. And then this one here will be for whatever the colors that he likes. I'll let him pick one out, and I'll do that color up for him. So this is what I got on the go. And again, they're just really simple blank. This is cedar. And it's a flat-sided bait. That's why it's got lots of nice side-to-side movement when it goes through the water with that particular type of wake bait style lip. So what I have to do now is I just have to, I've got the holes piloted in to drill for the weight. I'll put in another bottom hook hanger, but I'm going to put the holes for the weights, fit the weights in, take them back out, and then I'm going to dip the whole lure. That's why I put the back eye in, epoxied it in. I'm going to dip the whole lure in a wood sealer. Might use a polyacrylic, or I may use a polyurethane. After I'm done that, I will get the weight and the hardware on it and the lip glued in, and then I will base coat it. And I've got a nice base coat, or a primer, which is Createx Autoborne Air, and I'm gonna do them up in gray, and then do some of them will be done in white, some will be done with a black back, or do them in black. And then from that point on, I will put their first coat of epoxy and glitter on. After that, then I will put on a foil. Once the foil is on, then I will, how can I say it, I will re-epoxy again, do the paint job, and then 2 more coats of epoxy. So each one of these FLATLINER shiners actually get 4 layers of epoxy. That's going to be hard for a pike to bite through. So this is the color, or the Autoborne Air on top of polyurethane, and man, it is on there. Very, very hard to scratch off. Okay, so another thing I'm working on, and I'll just give you a little look at it. Oh, here it is. This guy right here. I carved this out of pine. It's very simple looking, but it's going to be my first popper. It's very small, not very big at all. It might be like 65 to 70 mil. I just have to get one of the ball rasps that fit inside your drill. And I'll drill out the mouth, put on some of the eye hooks. I will prime it, give it a coat or two of epoxy so it's nice and smooth. And then I'm going to make a rubber mold out of it, rubber silicone mold, and I will pour these in epoxy and have them float with micro balloons in the epoxy. Not the epoxy, sorry, the resin, a plastic resin with micro balloons in it so that it has an ability to float. This will just be the wooden master. So I can make, maybe several rubber molds out of it. So this is my other project. I'm going to go on the go, and we'll get, sorry, I'm kind of tired. I'm stumbling my words, but we'll get some more video on making this possibly and testing it. Just going through the stages anyways. We'll have a video put together for you. I also had another couple poppers. There was this one here, which is a little more intricately carved, which I may do a silicone molding of this as well as for a popper, and see how that goes. I do like the carving of it. I like the look of it. It has a very realistic effect to it. And this is basically a wooden master for that. Now this one I will not. I'll seal the wood, but I will not cover it in epoxy resin because I don't want all of these details to be covered over. I want them to be able to be prominent when I make a mold so that I can foil these particular areas, such as this area here, the sides, or the gill plates, mouth area. So that's another one I put together. Then I've also got in the works a simple popper. This is just made out of a dowel. And either I will keep making these out of dowels or maybe make a rubber mold out of it also. To me, this has kind of got a retro lure style to it. And I may just get into making some of them because the retro lures are really cool. You can get some neat lips for them. You can get some big wide lips like for a jitterbug, or you can get the special lip that can bolt or can screw in underneath. It's made out of metal like you had in your heat and river runs. Maybe you can even get the wings that you can attach to the side, and it can be like a crawler. Anything. Like, you can do a lot of retro baits, and people like retro baits. I think there might be a little bit of a market for them. Some other projects, well, that's about it right now. I will have some other things in the winter, into the spring. I'm just going to flip this back around. There we are again. So one more thing I wanted to touch on was a little project I did in the summer that it worked with one of the molds, but it failed on the other. So what I did was I went and bought some live bait fish, and I wanted to make a mold, a silicone mold to replicate one of those or two of those bait fish. So the one it worked out fairly well, the other one it didn't. The larger bait fish that I had, which is like a river chub, didn't work out so well. And I realized it was because the rubber mold that I'm using from Alumalite, high strength 2 or 3, I think it is, it left a lot of air bubbles. It was a single pour mold that I made, and where with a double, with a 2-piece mold as opposed to a single piece mold, the 2-piece mold, you have a better ability of pouring one side at a time, and the bubbles then come up. So the bubbles don't really get trapped or caught around the item that you're molding. So the one I did a mold on failed. Now the smaller minnow that I sacrificed, both of them, the smaller minnow, this is it right here, it actually came out quite well. And what I did was I stuck some metal gear on it, as you can see, and I also put a lip. This one here, and I'm going to still produce this. This one here is going to be a little wake bait. And again, maybe just another subsurface bait, just to keep it at the surface, right? And as you can see, the detail on it, I can get this a little better in front of me. Let's see if it'll focus a little better. There we go. You can see the eyes and everything on it, the gills, the mouth. You can see the fins. Again, it was a perfect replica of an actual minnow or shiner. I also have another one here of the same exact copy, but done as a jerkbait. As you can see, the angle of the lip is a little different on it. So, right? So, and I've also filed or drilled out the eye sockets for a drilled out the eye sockets to actually take fake eyes. The other one doesn't have that; it still has the original eyes on it. So there's one of the projects I had going, and what I want to do again is get another live sample, and I'm not going to be using this rubber. This was the rubber I was using before. This is the Alumilite high strength 2 or 3, which is just, you know, a very soft rubber, a little more flexible. But I'm going to use this rubber here that I found at Michael's. Both these are at Michael's, and it's Mold Maker. And we'll see if this will actually mold a more detailed specimen or mold without any bubbles collecting on the minnow and popping, which then just gives you a really, really terrible copy. So we'll try this. This is a fast setting mold rubber. Sets in like 30 minutes, sorry. The other one's like, I don't know, 48 hours or something like that. So anyways, this stuff here, we'll see how it works. If it works out great, and I can mold the specimen properly, then that's going to help, because then I can make silicone molds of the copy, and I can then possibly get into soft plastics. I can make some paddle tails and some minnows that look like, what do you call them? Fluke. I think a fluke. So it has a little prong tail. Maybe some crayfish, and kind of experiment and slowly get into a soft plastics, soft plastic stuff. But that'll be down the road. It's basically just hard lures right now for bass and pike. Nothing big for muskie. It takes too much time. So, yeah, off to bed. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll shoot another video on the progress of these Flatliner Shiners when I get them painted up, and that little popper that we're going to put together. I'm also going to get like a little feathered treble on it. I think that'll look pretty sweet. Okay, guys. Good night. See you soon.